I'm Lauren and welcome back to my YouTube channel Sweet Smiling Soul, where I talk about all things sewing. Today I am going to be upcycling or refashioning this children's denim jacket. It fits ages 8 to 10, so it's quite small, quite cute. I'm going to add some patchwork to the back and some embroidery to the front, and I'm gonna go with a retro theme. So this video is of me putting it all together. You can see what it looks like from beginning to end, and you might even find inspiration to create your own denim jacket or refashion your own denim jacket. So I'm going to be as specific with the details as I possibly can, while also letting my creativity roam free and see where it takes me. So let's get into it. So I've got my denim jacket here, and I'm going to start by adding patchwork to this panel here. First, I'm going to decide which fabric pieces I would like to have. So I've gone with these retro floral prints, and I'm thinking they'll look quite nice together in just strips along the back, and yeah, something like this. So I'm going to fill this panel in with some patchwork floral prints, and on the front I'm going to add some floral embroidery features up on the shoulders using colours that are similar to what's here in these prints. I have 5 floral prints to work with here, so I'm going to start by measuring this panel, which is 30 centimeters in length and around 27 centimeters width. So because I have 5 prints, I'm going to divide the 30 centimeters by 5, which is 6 centimeters, and I'm also going to add an extra centimeter on top and bottom, since I'll be attaching all the pieces together. So each piece does need a seam allowance. And then I'm going to measure about 29 centimeters for each piece, because I want to be able to tuck the sides in by about a centimeter and stitch along the edges here. That's my plan so far. It's better to have a little bit more fabric than not enough. Once I've stitched the panels on the back, then I'll move on to the front and start stitching some floral features up at the shoulders, maybe even down here, we'll see. But there are pockets here, so it's probably best to not stitch too much over this, because it'll be good if the person wearing this can put their hands in the pocket. Now I'm going to get started on the patchwork pieces. So I've cut out all my pieces, and now I'm going to decide what order I want them to be in. So I'm thinking like this pinky colour, this purple red colour, the orange in the middle, then the mauve again, purpley colour, and then the green at the end. So I think that's how I'm going to have it. And now I'm going to pin each piece together. I'll do that now. Get my pins. So I'm going to pin them right sides together. So if we start with this, fold it there, pin, then add it to the next panel. Right, so I've pinned them all together, So now I'm going to sew them with a 1 centimeter seam allowance across each panel. Now that I've sewn the panels together and pressed the seams, I'm going to place it on the back of the jacket, and you can see here that I do have an excess of fabric at the top and bottom. Probably a little bit too much, but that's okay. It's still going to work. And then I've got enough to fold it in on the sides as well. So I've started to pin the fabric to the back, and I've just kind of followed where the seam is, put my pins along there. So it's just to guide me before we start folding it in and pinning into place and sewing it in place as well. You can see that I've got quite a bit of fabric around the edges to probably trim off before tucking it in, but it's better to have more fabric than not enough. That's pinned on for now, and I'm just going to take my scissors and trim the top and bottom off a little bit because they're a bit too long. I'm just going to follow the seam along the top here, leave about 1 centimeter or 2 to be able to tuck in. That's ready to be tucked in, and as I tuck it, I might need to trim a little bit more excess fabric off. Now that I've pinned it along the edge and left myself enough fabric to tuck in, I'm going to start folding in the edges and then pinning them as close as I can to the top of the seam, following along the top and then along the sides. You can see where I've folded in already here and pinned into place. I'm just going to continue that now. So when I get to the corners, I fold in the side as well, and then I pin. So I just do my best to get it as close to the seam as possible. And I just want to make sure that it's neat and smooth across the back. There is a pleat on the denim jacket down the bottom here, but I'm just going to go over it with the fabric. So I'm just kind of working with the panel as it is and smoothing the fabric over, tucking it in to meet the edges, and then pinning into place. So I'm at the bottom right corner now, so I'm going to have to tuck it in on the side, but then also tuck it in at the bottom. And if there's excess fabric, or if it just feels a bit too bulky, you can trim it down. I think this is all right at the moment. I don't feel like I need to trim it. I'm just going to manipulate the fabric a bit just to get the edges nice and neat. So it is on a little bit of an angle, I can see. If it's not that straight, like when I step back and look at it after I finish pinning, I might have to just undo it and repin just to make sure that it's all even. It's definitely not as straight as I would like it to be, especially this bottom panel. It kind of goes down on an angle, so I am going to slightly adjust it so that it is straight. So I unpinned everything and straightened it up a little bit, and it's still not perfect, but it's better. I think it's just the nature of the panel that's been designed here. It's not perfectly straight either, so I think this is good enough. So I'm going to take it to the machine now and start sewing, and what I'm going to do is just use a straight stitch and sew as close as I can to the edge, and then if it's necessary I might run over it with a straight stitch in the middle, but I'll just see how it sits at the end once everything's sewn in place. So I've sewn on the patchwork pieces, and I only went around the edge. It didn't seem necessary to go across the top, so it's secured there quite well, and on the inside you can't really see too much of a difference, just like an outline of stitching there. And now I'm going to add some floral features. I think I'm just going to add them to the shoulder panels, maybe just across the top of the shoulder panels there, and then yeah, maybe even on the collar, we'll see. But I'm just going to see where creativity takes me, and I'm going to focus on colours that go with the panels on the back. So we've got like a red colour, a light pink, a mauve, a golden kind of retro yellow colour that goes with the flowers, and then also a green. So I think I'm just going to work with those on the front of the jacket and see how it looks. But I think for this jacket, maybe less is more. So I'm going to be very mindful and not let myself get too carried away here. So I've finished the denim jacket. I added some daisies to the front on both shoulders, and I felt like that was enough. So it's got the daisies on the front and then the patchwork on the back. I think it's quite sweet, and I love the retro style fabric on the back. That's an easy upcycling or refashioning project that you can do if you have a denim jacket in your cupboard and you want to add some patchwork or embroidery features to it. It really only takes, a couple of hours depending on how much time and energy you want to put in it. But I think adding just some straight kind of patchwork features, that can be created quite quickly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's project. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please like, comment, let me know your thoughts on the jacket and share it with a crafty friend. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you next time.